All right. Hey, this is Kevin McGiven. I'm the pass game coordinator and wide receivers coach at San Jose State. Previous 6 years was coordinating the offense here, and going to talk a little bit today about quarterback eye patterns, kind of in the previous system that we were running, and how we built some of those things to teach quarterback reads, teach their eye progressions, teach them different starting points, things like that, and have had a pretty good run the last couple of years, really since 2019, of quarterbacks in the system that have been pretty successful. Josh kind of came up through the system and was Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year in 2019. Also first team all conference. Nick Starkle was a transfer that was at Texas A&M and then Arkansas, and then transferred to us in 2020. Helped us win a Mountain West championship, and was second team all conference. He was also the MVP of the conference championship game. And then Chevin Cordero started for us the last 2 years and was preseason offensive player of the year in 2023 and first team all conference as well. And so a couple guys in the system, and a bunch of previous quarterbacks with kind of the same philosophy that have had pretty good success. A bunch of guys that were newcomers of the year that were able to play as freshmen with the teaching method. Other guys that were all conference players at other places. So couple things with the pass game, how that used to be built. And again, we're going to be moving to a new system with Craig Stutzman running run and shoot, and new head coach Kenny Niumatalolo here that I'm really excited to learn from. So obviously these things are going to change a little bit, but kind of how I looked at it, some of the places that I've been in the past, and what we were doing previously here at San Jose State to have some of the production that we had from the quarterback position and building the offense and specifically the pass game around them. But first thing there, as you can see, is just mastering the core. So our base rules, base concepts out of our base formations. And so we call it the 4 core, simply 2x2, 3x1, attached tight end, and then 2x2, 3x1 open sets. The whole offense is going to be based off of, and then obviously from there we can deviate, we can get into different personnel groups, we can get into different formations within those personnel groups, and we're going to change the presentation as much as we can. The old adage, making it look like a lot to the defense, but keeping it simple for the offense. We're going to take those base concepts, so that third bullet there, and then we want to start to layer it with some things that complement those base, whether it be double moves or whatever it may be, but things that complement those, or just some auxiliary variations as well. When we game plan those, that next bullet, we want to start out game planning with concepts that define an attack always and never. So this is something the defense is always doing. This is something the defense is never doing. If we can find those things, game plan around that first, then obviously that's for us the simplest way to plan. And then outside of that, those can be really hard to find, but we want to have multiple coverage answers as much as possible within our schemes. So that there are different elements to be able to attack different coverage, different space, and get guys into the areas that we need. For us to do that in our system, and again, for me to be able to teach the quarterbacks the way I want to teach them, us getting 5 out is a critical component of our offense. We need to do that to create the structures, create the eye patterns that we're talking about, to get guys into space, control certain defenders, combine different structures within the concepts, and then give the quarterback multiple access points to attack the defense, both horizontally and vertically. And so again, it makes offensive line coaches kind of cringe sometimes when I talk about how much we like to get 5 out, how much we're going to be in 5-man protection, but just kind of one of the philosophies of the offense. And so the recruiting of the running back position is obviously critical. We got to have a guy that's really versatile, in this offense. The tight end is another component that has to have a lot of versatility so that we can do different things out of different personnel groups and still be able to have that niche. Installing the offense with the quarterbacks. So we're going to marry up concepts by read type as much as possible. And this is just kind of how I define them, some universal principles. We talk about object receiver reads, that we're going to be looking at a guy, we're going to be looking at how a defense reacts to a specific target, and then we'll build certain progressions around them. Obviously, we have defender reads, whether that's just trying to isolate a corner, just trying to isolate a flat defender, whatever that may be. Area reads, where not necessarily a specific defender, but whoever is occupying that area. That's kind of the multiple coverage term that we use. Directional read components, whether that's pre-snap or post-snap, to get you to a side, if it's a pick a side type concept, or if it's a post-snap directional free safety movement, Mike linebacker movement, rotational pressure, different things like that. We like to build progression triangles as much as possible, really just trying to create 3-on-2s and then outside in or inside out scans. And so those are some of the things we talk about in the reads for the quarterback, but instead of marrying concepts by the pass family, more with the read type. I think what this allows us to do is teach same as or like in concepts to simplify. It helps us offset some of the volume. The same thing I was talking about before, where we're going to present things a bunch of different ways, and quarterback is going to look at it the same way, but it's going to be a different presentation to the defense. So we want to incorporate and define yes, no's within the offense as much as possible. Those are the easy takes for the quarterback. We want to incorporate opportunities for the quarterback to attack free access, just like a lot of offenses do. Anytime you can get an easy completion there. We'll have coverage alerts in there, which is basically we teach them as the premier look to run a certain concept. And if he has that look, then he can attack a certain area of the field. And then those one-on-ones, like I said, easy completions, we want to build in those as much as possible as well. We're going to build and or combine similar eye patterns across various pass types and families that allow them to locate and manipulate and attack the same defenders. So we want to be able to let them learn as the game goes, so they are attacking the same type of people. They can see how they're reacting to certain types of stimulus, and they can learn defenders as the game progresses. And we do different things to try to attack those guys. Okay, so this is kind of when building concepts. This is really a couple really universal concepts on the top left there with different names for it. We call it hook. A lot of people call it snag, but just kind of how we take one of those universal concepts and we build some of those quarterback eye patterns within different pass families to kind of show you what I'm talking about here. But obviously this play being a universal play, there's a lot of different ways that you can teach it. The ways that you can present it to the quarterback, and as a progression read on the right, if you're talking pure progression, and we talk about flat corner roll, then that would be a pure progression type thought for the quarterbacks. Okay. Talking triangle. Okay. It may be key the corner. Okay. So key the corner bails, and now we're going to locate the flat defender, and then we're going to play off the mic. And so now we've created a scan, okay, outside in that now incorporates that backside win route. We can cut the field in half. We can play the concept to the right. We can play the slants to the left and make it more of a directional read, make it based off numbers, make it based off rotation, different things like that, where you can cut the field in half, you can pick a side, okay, or you can teach it in a progression manner, like I was talking about before, incorporating your triangles and incorporating your scans, where we've gotten all the way to the front side, the running back on the scoot, and have the quarterback work all the way through a progression back to the controlled end on the left. Same with the concept on the right. Okay, just a basic stick concept, and a lot of people have the same complement on the left. We're going to teach this the exact same way. The only difference is that deep third is obviously going to be occupied by that vertical instead of a corner out. Okay, but man, now we're putting someone in that curl flat area with the stick route and still have it back on the scoot. So we're really attacking same areas. You can still key the corner. You can still get hole shots on the outside. You can come off that when you get a bail corner, and you can read that across from your flat defender, working your mic and reading across the field and incorporating the directional components as well, and pick a side type things. Just another way to look at it from an empty perspective, where now that flat route is coming from the backfield. Okay, we can still read this outside in. Okay, keying the corner, still putting someone in the deep third. We're still occupying the same space, and we're still going to be working potentially off a flat defender and a Mike linebacker to be able to scan to the backside. There's different components here in terms of potential free access and leverage. A lot of different nuances that you can talk about as you develop your schemes throughout different formations, where different things show up like that. This one here is, we are doing the exact same thing that we have built on the snag. So we are putting the running back in the flat on a free release. Now our corner route is coming from the outside receiver, our Z. That would have a C stem release versus a cloud corner. It could be a post corner. And now we've brought our shell over. We built this with our mesh concept, and so we still have the same snag triangle built here, same stick triangle built here, with putting someone in the deep third, potentially high-lowing a corner in a middle open look, reading off the corner and scanning from the flat to now our shallow. Okay, that has the option to sit. Okay, could be in the same area. Okay, in that tackle, getting into that curl flat area that you would put a stick or a snag, and the quarterback can still read through the mesh. Okay, read off the Mike linebacker and get to the backside of that, which would be very similar to getting to that backside controlled in. Obviously, a nuance of this play would be starting on the other side. Now we wouldn't have the triangle per se, but if he liked that leverage better, he could still scan off of that outside in if he liked his leverage or his matchup on the left with the X there. Very similar concept again, with a mesh family out of a bunch. And again, you can see there that we have built the exact same things here. Now we're checking our running back out to the single receiver side, but we've still built our triangle. We still have something the quarterback can come off of that and can scan back to, can solely work the mesh on any of these, and has some different options going on there in terms of access points, starting points, and then, but again, kind of keying the same defenders and the concept that's built to do that. This is off of our cross series, so you had a couple off of our quick game, a couple off of our mesh, and then just a typical cross concept. A lot of people will run this with an option route, okay, by the Y or the H on the other side. A bunch of different combinations that we will typically work some kind of corner high-low smash concept or switch smash concept into the boundary, where the quarterback can still key the corner and look for that isolation. He can start there if he has a 2-on-1. That still becomes a scan progression, and still can be with a bail corner, can still be scanned to, okay, based off the flat defender, how much stretch you get. Now we're controlling the mic, hopefully controlling the mic with the running back working the other way, but could still be working off the mic if he gets underneath the cross, and then working out to our curl flat read, which is just one of your typical cross concepts, but the structure and the quarterback eye pattern being very, very similar to how we built that there. Our bottom left here is now a drive. Okay, so we've talked about quicks. We've talked about a couple mesh concepts where you're seeing the same structures, you're seeing the same eye pattern. Now this is our drive. We've got our high-low built. Okay, we've got our triangle built with the drive coming over there. Okay, is just like your snag triangle. Okay, now we've got a dig, so we've got multiple high-lows built. We've still got horizontal stretch, okay, where that's very similar to your pop back on the win route, okay, right here in the quick game. Quarterback's eye pattern is the same. He's still locating the same defenders. And then the controlled end, trailing that, could potentially cut the field in half there if you got some kind of a 3-cloud look, maybe to the boundary, you get some rotation, overpopulated to the boundary, then you can work this triangle to the field. Last one here on the bottom, okay, again, part of our mesh family. Okay, now we've added the cone. We still have our post corner, okay, our flat. We're still building this triangle with the shallow, but now the addition of this cone route, very much like a dig, is the quarterback can work that triangle. He can scan back to that and then can still get back to the backside of the mesh, which would be very similar to our controlled end back here. So obviously different ways to build things, different stimulus, and then some clips that can kind of show you a little bit how this plays out. Okay, so this is that hook concept. Okay, so for us, again, just 11 personnel. We've got the scoop by the back. Okay, we've got our snag, we've got our corner. Okay. Typically, we would like to force him outside of that. Okay, so we get this defender ice a little bit more, but we were getting so much carry out of it. Quarterback really ended up playing off the next piece of that. But as soon as that corner bails, he's trying to get his eyes on that outside linebacker. That's who we would like to be able to look off of there. Because we don't get a strong push, okay, we're able to out leverage the defense with the back. It's a good quick decision by Chev. Okay, we've got our slants working in if you needed to. And that's why sometimes with these progression-based reads, and especially when you have a drop 8 look like this way, sometimes it's important still for the quarterback to go through the progression, work it, and then that eye pattern working back if he can get enough control or push there to where he still potentially has a shot at that pop back. Okay, here's the same concept against Utah State. 11 personnel tight end into the boundary. And again, this concept is built into so many different things that we do. And then here's one with Chev. He's got to get it out a little bit quick. He's getting collapsed on the on right here, but where probably not what you want to do if we can get a good key on that corner. Okay, so now we see the corner low, okay, and then right here we would like him to go up top. We don't get that very often in practice, and so you can get out of the habit a little bit of seeing that. You know, these two throws are typically thrown the most, and then when we get our numbers looks and quarterback makes it more of a directional concept, then we'll play back here quite a bit. This is probably the route we throw the least, but where Chev wasn't quite as in tune to that, got in a little bit of a hurry and then didn't quite read it out properly. But you can see how it could develop against a cloud look into the boundary where they're playing kind of a 2 invert here. Okay, here's against Colorado State. Now we've got the tight end inline. This we're getting kind of a 3 buzz look. We knew that this guy was going to be fairly heavy on this seam, and that we could get a good pocket there off the flat defender. Okay, this one obviously bail corner. Okay, pretty aggressive push by 45 right there, so we're able to play off that curl flat. Okay, get that seam carried out and create a nice little pocket there. Could probably just build a little bit more depth and be a little bit more patient coming through there so that we don't run into that space. Can hold this space on the controlled end. Okay, but a pretty good look. Okay, here is same concept. Just one of the things we really like to do with this is change these surfaces. Like I said, just give different presentations. Where we're in a nub set, this is 1. Okay, this is 2. Obviously, this type of thing would exchange that. Okay, quick motion to where now this is 1. Okay, this is 2, this is 3. Okay, and then that changes to where now he becomes 1. Okay, he becomes 2 at the corner out. But you can see, obviously, just with the motion and the identification of the defense in this man combo look, where it causes some issues just in terms of who's accounting for who and switching those guys out. But again, different presentation. We've built the exact same triangle. Typically, we probably would have been back here in a man coverage situation, especially with the outside leverage on that one. Don't typically throw this versus man, but Chef stayed on that side, and then obviously the coverage got blown a little bit. We were able to hit Sam for a big play on that in the first drive of that game. Big 3rd down call. Okay, so here it is, San Diego State now. Chef seeing the pressure, okay, working into the pressure. Okay, seeing that voided middle. If this were a zone pressure, I would still want him to play fast. He could still replace the pressure with the read. But if this were a zone pressure and he scanned it, I wouldn't have had any problem with that. Obviously, just needs to play fast here. This pressure is going into our slide side, and so we're able to handle it pretty well. Okay, here's one like I was talking about before, where this is kind of one of those 4 press looks. Okay, so getting the man zone presentation. Okay, but the press there takes him off with a low corner. Okay, getting pretty heavy push. Okay, now our win route gets trapped, even though we're getting heavy mic push. Okay, it gets trapped there. Okay, and where Chev works all the way back. Okay, to the controlled end. Okay, so the pretty good job playing the concept. Okay, coming off the mic linebacker and still getting his feet back to that backside controlled end as pretty much a full field progression. Okay, but he's able to come off and eliminate it pretty quick because of how aggressive the push was to the running back. And another reason why we like to get these guys out to hopefully make it declare a little bit faster for the quarterback. Okay, so now we've incorporated the same snag here, okay, but now instead of working the slants on the backside, okay, and so again, we're kind of building some of these structures, is we built another high-low back here. Okay, so we actually have an option route, okay, by our Y. Okay, we have a dig by our Z. Okay, and he's just running an option route where he really has a 4-prong option route. He can break that out, he can break it in, he can curl out, he can curl in. Okay, so a lot of times if he ends up holding that space and we get this guy to push to him, okay, we can still play off the Mike linebacker. Okay, try to get this defender isolated on the backside. Okay, and then with a 4-prong option route, hopefully you're giving him something that where he's making the quarterback right. Okay, so this one, okay, this ended up being a pressure. We were targeted here. Okay, pressure came away from that side. We ended up squeezing on that, and Chev throwing hot to that side. Okay, but it's right into his vision. He does a good job getting the ball out fast and pushing it to the back. Had we been able to see that quicker, we could probably either redirected it, okay, or with the spacing, if we were 4 down, and we would have had to pull that because of where we're targeted. We were there, could have called that 4 down, but we ended up having to squeeze to that guy so that he had to play hot. Okay, but you can see that snag concept with now built into with a high-low. Same thing. Okay, so you can see this would be one where I'd have told Chev he maybe could have been patient with that. Maybe he didn't like the leverage of the safety to the field, but a lot of grass. still out there. He's playing pretty deep. Okay, we've got the corner that's not really sloughing off too much. If he decided to push this out here over the corner away from the safety, I would have had no problem with that. Okay, but obviously he felt like maybe this was a 2-for-2 situation. Okay, can't get the snag. Okay, we've got the push of the mic backer, but I think you can see him working through the progression with his eyes, working through with his feet. Now he sees this push and he's able to snap back and find that dig right behind it for a touchdown. Okay, but another one where a couple high lows built. Okay, horizontal scan with 1, 2 coming off the mic, 3 and 4, just like if we were to have a controlled in out here and a wind route. Okay, but obviously sometimes a little bit more effective when you're actually working above the second level instead of through the second level. Okay, a little more condensed. So at 2x2, 12 personnel. Okay, this is another one we like to do these at a with bigger personnel groups, but just kind of tighten the defense down and then force them to expand. Again, just the clarity of the reads for the quarterback have to be a little bit aggressive, where you tighten the box a little bit more aggressive with their expansion, and sometimes peels those windows open up a little bit better than when you're already detached, just because you get a much more drastic reaction by the defense. But same thing here. Okay, we're working off the flat defender. He's able to throw that snag behind it, corner bells. Okay, getting some mic push. You see him working that way in the progression, getting some mic push. And if that window's any tighter, then he's probably getting ready to pop back to that. If he sloughs off underneath it, then we want to be working that option route. Okay, so this is one in the bowl game again. Again, really good job by Chev using his eyes. Okay, corner bails, flat defender pushes. Okay, normally we wouldn't want to wrap around that there. Okay, we wouldn't want to work this space and then be able to play off that guy. Okay, but you can see how in tune Chev got to this concept and working frontside triangles, working progression scans. Basically having hit almost every throw in his progressions right here. So here's one obviously where thought it was being cut by the safety. You can see this being matched pretty well. Flat, bracket, push, okay, pocket there, where now he's got his eyes there. Okay, Sam does a good job settling back off, but Chev hits the outside shoulder. We're able to capitalize and get a first down on it. Okay, so here it is. Here it is now. Again, building the exact same thing with the snag into the boundary out of 3x1. Okay, now our scan becomes in the form of a backside high-low. So out of 2x2, okay, we were running the option route here. Okay, working the high-low with that. Now we're going to work it into a shallow principle. Okay, we've still got the same thing. Okay, he can work this triangle. Okay, he can cancel that. He can work this side of it. Okay, he's got a little bit of a pocket there. Okay, his eyes are pulling coverage. Okay, and potentially if he needs to work back, we are getting him isolated. So instead of running the option route, now we're just bringing the shallow over. Okay, but we're still working off that defender. Okay, with a potential high-low on the backside. He's going to be taught to read that the exact same way. Okay, same thing. Okay, here's the snag built out of a bunch with the fast motion by the back. Okay, now we're bringing this around, trying to create rubs, trying to create some confusion in their trade outs. Okay, but we've still got our snag principle that we just got to a different way. We've still got our high-low on the backside. I would have told him I think he does a pretty good job just finding Sam, working through his progression, getting the ball out fast here. Okay, especially with this coming in his face. But right here with the middle vacated and the way they had to trade this man coverage, he probably could have taken that as well and just made that his hot read. Okay, so we end up in a man coverage look, but structurally, okay, you can kind of see what we're attempting to do on this. Okay, so now this one, so one I showed you on that first screen, and Chev ends up taking some pressure here, and he made me look really, really smart a lot of times with some of these concepts that maybe weren't great at the time, but he was able to scramble out and get us out of a lot of problems. But here it is with that mesh now. Okay, so at a 2x2, we're free releasing the back here. Okay, and again, I wouldn't have told him any different on the snag concept. Okay, key the corner. Okay, he bails. Okay, the only nuance to this one, okay, sometimes with the leverage that you get by the corner, if they're playing really heavy inside and cutting that post, then he might stay there. That has happened in the past. Okay, but typically, if you're teaching the same principles, he sees 22 bail, he's working off the flat defender that's matching the back. Okay, he would get to the third point in that triangle. Okay, this would work like his backside controlled in. Now, both of these guys end up kind of on the correct sides of those. So if Chev were to step up right there, okay, we need to get a little bit tighter on this mesh, but could just his third read right there with the mic playing outside. Okay, put it on his inside shoulder, just like a normal mesh principle, drop step. Okay, and should be able to get a first down there with step up, hit him, drop step, and get it. Okay, but that's how the triangles developed with the potential pop back to the mesh instead of a win route like we would have on our normal snag concept. Okay, here it is with the rub. Okay, so again, we're in a 12 personnel, 2 tight end set, 3x1 set. Okay, so again, this is a third and long, okay, getting kind of a Tampa 2-ish. Okay, normally we would have had this be a C stem release. Okay, looks like Charles kind of didn't see that cloud until a little bit later. Okay, a little bit of that trap technique, but normally we'd try to C stem that. Okay, kind of keep the safety a little bit more narrow. Okay, before we took that over the top. Okay, but now pushing the back out. Okay, there's the high-low read on the corner. Okay, we're able to grab him. Okay, with a pretty aggressive reaction. Okay, and Chev does a good job seeing that. Okay, seeing the leverage on the safety. Okay, pushing that ball outside into that pocket. Okay, there's the triangle. Okay, that I've been talking about a lot. If he does cancel that, okay, there's the scan 1 to 2 to the cone. This spacing isn't great here. Okay, we would say 10 yards over the ball, and then before you can sit that, you had to be past that tackle's alignment so that we get that box spaced out a little bit better if he needs to scan. Yeah, but a lot of principles that people are running just maybe teaching a little bit differently and incorporating them a little bit differently. Okay, so same thing. Got a little bit of cloud coverage to these guys. Okay, this one, now we're getting a corner bail. Okay, doesn't have the leverage that he likes. Okay, we're getting the push out of the flat defender. Here he is working the third part of the triangle. Okay, there would be a stick or a snag, okay, in quit game. Okay, when we get to that drive, okay, this is a drive, this is a dig that's working the back side. Now we're just putting that cone in that same area. And we'll kind of take a look at that one here as we. Okay, so right here it is with the drive. So we basically just have a smash concept over here. We have the drive on this side. Okay, but just again to show you how these. Okay, so we just basically ran this exact concept with off of the rub. Okay, The only thing we did different was we put the over the ball cone route came from this side. Now that's being replaced by the dig on this side. Okay. This was the backside of the mesh. Okay. Now it's being replaced with a running back. Okay. That is checking out to occupy that same grass. Okay. With the switch smash principle. Okay. But right here, same triangle's been developed. Right here, we still have a box triangle that's developed. Right there, we have a couple high lows going on. If we canceled that, okay, we have a horizontal scan working from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. We're still keying the corner. Okay, if he bailed, we'd get our eyes on the flat defender, and then we would come back through the drive progression based off how the mic played. Okay, so a bunch of different ways, okay, to where you've seen we're just putting the guys in the same areas on the field, getting them there different ways, and teaching the exact same principles to the quarterback, teaching them to key the exact same defenders and work your eye patterns the same way. Okay, so there it is with the smash. Okay, I would have said right here, especially in this situation, okay, that would be constituted as free access. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Not only do you have a corner read, but you have access to that throw. I don't think Chev needed to go any further than that on this read. Okay, typically if he wasn't going to take that with that technique by the corner, that would be a little bit more aggressive push by the flat defender, but should be able to beat that guy to the throw, no problem. Okay, but you can see the structure again here, okay, with the smash and with the drive principle. Okay, so here it is with the 3x1 drive now. Okay, so now to get our smash, okay, we incorporated the back into it. Pre-release on the arrow. Now we've got the tight end on a nub side, okay, where he'll be running the corner route. Okay, we've got our drive coming over, okay, building that triangle there. Okay, so we've got a high-low that we could work versus cloud there. We've got a high-low, we can work off the mic there. Okay, with that being canceled, we can get to our back and we can pure scan this. Okay, if we had cloud corner down safety over the top, he could cancel this and he could work the backside of this progression right here. Okay, he's got an outside hot there. He's got an inside hot here. If the box were to vacate. Okay, so just like I was saying with some of these concepts, a lot of different things that you can teach based off what defense that you're getting, and then just about whether you want to teach pure progressions or you want to teach the quarterback how to get to those multiple access points versus the looks that he's seeing. Okay, now we're out of an open 3x1 set. Okay, with the reduction to the boundary. We'll run the same thing with a stick concept here. Okay, a dig and an option by this guy out of this same alignment. Okay, so that kind of complements what we're doing with the back and the Z right there. But because of that reduced alignment, okay, we'll complement that with a high-low into the boundary as well. Obviously, the corner opens up. He's pretty loose right here, so pretty easy access to get that to the back into the boundary. But this is another really good one where you know, if you know that you're getting a Tampa type look or a 2-robber type look, and you can put him, your tight end right there, your Y, and you can have him occupy that space. Okay, then you've got some pretty good things going on. Okay, so here we're playing Oregon State. Same thing, we've got a split reduction. Okay, so we bring him on a shallow, we could bring him on a dig with an option route, we can put him on a corner route, so it meshes different things we'll try to do with that split reduction. This is one of the ones I was talking about before too, where it wouldn't always be necessarily a look where you're reading the triangle based off of bell corner, but just sometimes if he sees a quick enough reaction by that corner to that post move, gets him playing really heavy leverage inside. You know, and so Chev decided he kind of wanted to hang on this one real quick. Okay, ends up getting that looping pressure where he's going to have to find something to get the ball out quick to anyway. Normally, we would try to replace that with that. Okay, but he sees Malachi here ending up getting that guy's shoulders turned. Okay, pushes that outside into a really aggressive location. Okay, but all these you can see the structures that are being developed with these. The defenders were trying to attack the eye patterns by the quarterback, even though there's a little bit different nuance to a lot of them. But how they kind of fit together in our offense when you're, where you've seen drives, you've seen crosses, you've seen meshes, you've seen quicks, but we're essentially talking about all the same things. And now we're in empty, so now we're really working a switch smash concept. Okay, where typically in man, where if we're getting him playing loose man, then we can work this. We can still work this high low, and all we've done there is we've incorporated this into that same drive because we're in empty rather than pushing the back to the flat. From there, okay, we've just detached and got into a different presentation than running the exact same concept, but could work out a little bit differently, obviously, and just pushing the back out from the flat. Maybe you get that in man, maybe you don't. Maybe this is a little bit more advantageous in a man situation, even though we don't get the rub that we want, or even getting a little bit quicker reaction by a cloud corner if they were going to play some type of open middle or cloud coverage to the boundary that could potentially help your quarterback and have the read a little bit more defined for him. So here it is now with what we were talking about before. So now showed you kind of two different things at a 2x2 where we had a tight end, we had a dig running the option route, showed it to you with a dig and a shallow, both of those with a some type of a stick or a snag concept. Now we're just running same type of triangle. Okay, obviously the nuance to it here is not really the high-low option necessarily off a cloud corner. We don't really teach that with the slot fade per se. Okay, maybe some people do. There are times maybe if we grab a corner that we could shoot that seam in a cover 3 situation, but really the nuance to this one is more of a man alert. Okay, do we have a look we want? Do we have the matchup we want? Okay, that's when he would take that, even though we're building something similar structurally. Okay, can still work outside in on his scan though. Okay, especially if you've got access to the field. Okay, he could take that working number 1 right there. Okay, number 2 off the flat defender. Okay, I don't think he needed to bypass Sam right there. Okay, typically we would bypass that if the mic were a little bit more of a threat. Okay, and if we were, then we would like to come back and work our high-low. Okay, so not a bad job right there. Sitting. Okay, we could push that a little bit more vertical, see if we can grab him a little bit more. Okay, but we get him to freeze enough to where Matt can wrap around him. Okay, we do get enough of Mike push. Okay, with Chev's eyes going that direction where we're able to find that pocket on the backside. Okay, there's that outside hot, same concept. Okay, we were slid. Okay, so we're going 5 for 5 there. We squeeze that. Okay, he's throwing hot off that side, and Chef is doing a good job getting that out. But this would really turn into something similar here. Okay, now on this side, okay, because it's more of a stick concept, a little bit deeper stick concept. Okay, we could read this outside in, potentially take a whole shot in a cover 2, read that outside in 1 to 2. Okay, we wanted to get this a little bit deeper. Okay, but we are still building the triangle here, giving him something to scan back to, but now he has to get to that free release back a little bit quicker because of the protection and the pressure on his face. Pretty good reaction by Chev right there. Okay, here it is with the motion now. Okay, so this is the motion, okay, with the stick principle. Okay, that triangle, now we're switching out the shallow, okay, but we're still just like we did from the back. We had a stick or a snag constant built on that side. The last one, we just brought the back from here. Okay, I've already showed it to you where we brought number 3, the tight end, over on the shallow. Now we're just switching that out. We're bringing the slot over on the shallow. Okay, we're still working this side. Okay, outside in. Okay, and potentially building this high-low to pop back to. So just different people, different presentation, motioning from a 2x2 to a 3x1. So that's what I've got for you today. Anyway, appreciate you guys allowing me to do this. And hopefully some things that you can take away from it. So